The story begins with the discovery of a long-forgotten transmission from an ancient alien civilization, the Tarkans. Known for their vast empire and relentless expansion, the Tarkans were once a dominant force in the galaxy. Thousands of years ago they encountered humanity, and their first attempt to subjugate Earth ended in disaster. After a devastating defeat, the Tarkans withdrew, seemingly leaving Earth behind, convinced that humanity was a primitive species unworthy of their attention. However, the Tarkan Empire, in its time of silence, was far from gone. Over the centuries, their technology and vast war fleets remained dormant, scattered across their far-flung colonies. While Earth blossomed into a thriving hub of technological advancement, the Tarkans slowly rebuilt themselves. Their obsession with revenge simmered, fueled by a belief that humanity's unexpected victory over their might was an anomaly, a fluke they could rectify. In their eyes, humanity had become a symbol of weakness, an insect to be crushed. The key event that sets the plot in motion is the reactivation of a centuries-old communication beacon located on a distant Tarkan outpost. Once thought to be a relic, the beacon transmits a cryptic message across the galaxy, reaching Earth. This message is a declaration of war, a proclamation from the Tarkan Empire that after 3,000 years of preparation, they are ready to exact revenge on the human race. The Tarkans claim that humanity has spread across the galaxy without restraint, threatening the delicate balance of power, and now they must pay for their transgressions. Earth has, in their eyes, become an unworthy adversary to be destroyed. Once and for all, humanity is stunned. The United Earth Defense Council, UEDC, the body tasked with ensuring Earth's security, is thrown into disarray. Most of humanity's leaders are skeptical at first. After all, the Tarkans have not been seen in over 3 millennia. The idea that an ancient enemy, long believed to be vanquished, would return to wage war seems almost impossible. Moreover, Earth's technological advancements, especially in the fields of space warfare and defense, have grown exponentially in the centuries since the Tarkans first attacked. Many assume the Tarkans are merely a relic of the past, an empire that has lost touch with modern warfare. However, the message is clear. The Tarkans have not forgotten their humiliation, nor have they forgiven the human race for standing against them. The sheer audacity of their proclamation cannot be ignored, and the UEDC must prepare for the unthinkable, an invasion from a civilization that had once been a galaxy-wide threat. As Earth's leadership scrambles to assess the full scale of the threat, a meeting of the world's brightest minds and military strategists takes place. Initial reports suggest the Tarkans have rebuilt a fleet that rivals, if not exceeds, Earth's best. They possess technologies far beyond human comprehension, including ships capable of intergalactic travel, weapons that defy conventional physics, and armies that could ravage entire planetary systems. The scale of the impending conflict seems insurmountable. The first part of the story sets the stage for the conflict, establishing the Tarkan Empire's motives and revealing the grave nature of the threat. Earth's initial shock at the declaration of war transitions into the frantic preparation for a war that, to many, seems unwinnable. Despite the vast difference in power, humanity's resolve is firm. Earth will not back down. Yet, as the Tarkans prepare their forces, the question looms: does Earth stand a chance against an empire that has waited 3,000 years to exact its revenge? This uncertainty drives the story forward, setting up the tension and conflict that will unfold in the subsequent parts of the narrative. As the Tarkan Empire's war fleets draw near, Earth's defensive forces are thrust into action. The Tarkans are not merely an ancient relic of the past, they are a formidable, relentless force, eager to make good on their 3,000-year-old vendetta. The war begins with a series of brutal strikes against humanity's outer colonies and strategic installations. The Tarkans, with their advanced weaponry and sheer military might, quickly demonstrate the overwhelming scale of their superiority. Earth's outer defenses, still recovering from years of relative peace, are caught off guard and are swiftly overwhelmed. The Tarkans launch their first wave of attacks, targeting Earth's key space stations, mining colonies, and commercial hubs spread across the solar system and nearby systems. The destruction is immediate and devastating. Massive orbital bombardments reduce entire colonies to rubble, and fleets of Tarkin warships tear through human defense lines with chilling precision. The Tarkans employ advanced energy weapons that disintegrate entire fleets, and their ships can effortlessly slip between space-time dimensions, making them almost impossible to predict or intercept. In the face of this unprecedented assault, humanity's initial response is one of confusion and fear. Earth's military leaders, unprepared for the scale of the Tarkin threat, struggle to organize a coherent defense. The human forces, though well-equipped and battle-hardened, are no match for the sheer firepower and advanced technology of the Tarkans. Early engagements see entire fleets of human warships annihilated with little more than a glancing blow from the enemy. However, despite the early setbacks, the human spirit refuses to break. The United Earth Defense Council, UEDC, quickly realizes that Earth's greatest strength is not its fleet size or weaponry, but its ingenuity and adaptability. It is clear that humanity cannot match the Tarkans in a traditional confrontation, but they can outthink them, as they did once before. This realization comes from an unlikely source, Dr. Lyra Davis, a brilliant but relatively unknown scientist, working in the field of energy physics. In the wake of the initial attacks, Davis uncovers a critical flaw in the Tarkin fleet's design. While their ships are technologically superior in most respects, Davis discovers a weakness in their propulsion systems, a vulnerability that, when exploited, could cripple their entire fleet. The Tarkans, in their arrogance, have failed to account for this design flaw, a product of their ancient war technology that was never updated in the wake of their initial defeat. Davis presents her findings to the UEDC, and soon, a team of engineers and military tacticians begin working to develop a weapon that can exploit this flaw. The weapon, codenamed Project Eclipse, is a powerful energy pulse designed to disrupt the Tarkin ship's propulsion systems, rendering them immobile and vulnerable. However, the development of the weapon is rushed, with little time to perfect it before the next wave of attacks. While the scientists work feverishly to complete Project Eclipse, the human military scrambles to fend off the relentless Tarkin assault. In a desperate bid to buy time, Earth's forces launch a series of guerrilla strikes, hitting Tarkin supply lines and ambushing smaller fleets. These tactics, though costly, begin to show promise. The Tarkans, initially confident in their superiority, begin to experience the first signs of doubt. Human tactics are unpredictable, resourceful, and unorthodox, qualities the Tarkans had underestimated. The human resistance, though struggling, becomes more organized. Earth's fleet, while outgunned, begins to fight back in ways the Tarkans are not prepared for, ambushing convoys, launching surprise attacks, and using civilian infrastructure to create traps and distractions. These guerrilla-style tactics frustrate the Tarkans, forcing them to adapt quickly to a foe they had never anticipated. The second part of the story shows the escalating conflict, highlighting the devastating power of the Tarkin Empire while showcasing humanity's resilience. The stakes grow higher as Earth races against time to develop Project Eclipse, knowing that a direct confrontation with the Tarkans will only lead to more destruction unless they can find a way to turn the tide. The Tarkans may have the upper hand, but humanity has its own weapon: intelligence, adaptability, and an unyielding will to survive. As the battle continues, both sides understand that the war is far from over, and Earth's fate hangs in the balance. As the war with the Tarkin Empire progresses, humanity begins to experience a shift in momentum. Despite the overwhelming firepower and technological superiority of the Tarkans, Earth's forces begin to adapt to the alien tactics. The initial devastation gives way to determination and ingenuity, and humanity's resilience emerges as its greatest weapon. The turning point comes when Dr. Lyra Davis and her team of engineers successfully complete the development of Project Eclipse, a powerful energy pulse designed to exploit the flaw in the Tarkin fleet's propulsion systems. The weapon, though still untested in a live combat scenario, holds the potential to cripple the Tarkin forces, rendering their massive warships immobile and vulnerable. The pressure is immense. Earth's military leaders know that without Way to stop the Tarkin onslaught. Their homeworld and colonies will fall. At this critical juncture, Earth's military leaders take a risky step. They decide to launch an all-out counterattack using the prototype of Project Eclipse, despite the unknowns surrounding the weapon's effectiveness. The plan is to strike at a key Tarkin fleet in Nabriyanin, the outer solar system, where the Tarkins are preparing to launch a full-scale invasion of Earth itself. The attack would need to be precise, coordinated, and executed with devastating speed. To increase the chances of success, Zara Mitchell, a rising star in the human military and a brilliant strategist, is assigned to lead the assault. Zara is known for her unconventional tactics and unflinching courage under fire. She has studied the Tarkins and their past weaknesses, and she is determined to prove that humanity can outsmart their formidable adversaries. Together with Captain Jonas Rourke, a seasoned commander, they lead a small fleet of specially outfitted ships into the heart of the Tarkin invasion force. The battle begins with a violent clash. The Tarkins, confident in their superiority, initially push the human forces back with ease. Their weaponry is overwhelming, and the initial casualties on the human side are devastating. But Zara, with her sharp tactical mind, uses the chaos of the battle to her advantage. She orders her fleet to break formation and launch a series of feints and ambushes, throwing the Tarkin commanders into disarray. While the Tarkins focus on chasing down these distractions, Zara's fleet moves into position to unleash Project Eclipse. The moment arrives, the human fleet activates the device, sending a powerful energy pulse through the Tarkin lines. The result is immediate and spectacular. Dozens of Tarkin warships, previously invulnerable, are suddenly disabled, their propulsion systems shutting down and rendering them stranded in space. The energy pulse causes a chain reaction, spreading through the Tarkin fleet like wildfire. The once formidable armada is left crippled and vulnerable. What follows is a swift and brutal human counterattack. With the Tarkin fleet disabled, Zara and Captain Rourke lead their forces in a series of quick, decisive strikes, taking advantage of the disarray and confusion among the alien forces. In a matter of hours, the tide of battle shifts dramatically. The Tarkins, caught off guard by the sudden vulnerability of their fleet, are forced to retreat, their plans for an invasion of Earth shattered. The humans, though battered and with heavy losses, have won a stunning victory. Despite the victory, Earth is far from safe. The Tarkin Empire is not destroyed, but its leadership is thrown into chaos. For the first time in the war, the Tarkins begin to question their once untouchable power. The realization that humanity, a race they had dismissed as weak and primitive, can strike back with such force shakes the very foundation of the Tarkin Empire. For Earth, this victory is bittersweet. While the immediate threat to the planet is averted, the war is far from over. The Tarkins are still a powerful enemy, and they will regroup and seek revenge. But humanity has proven something crucial. It is not the strength of its enemies that will determine the outcome of this war, but the strength of human resolve and ingenuity. Part 3 of the story underscores the themes of resilience and resourcefulness. Earth's unexpected victory is not due to superior firepower, but the willingness to fight smarter, to exploit weaknesses, and to adapt in the face of overwhelming odds. As the Tarkins retreat, humanity is emboldened, realizing that even the mightiest empire can be brought down by the very traits they had underestimated: intelligence, unpredictability, and an unbreakable will to survive. The war with the Tarkin Empire reaches its climax in Part 4, as Earth emerges victorious but with a deep sense of both triumph and caution. While humanity has dealt a significant blow to the Tarkins, the cost of the war weighs heavily on all sides. The battle has changed the course of history, and both Earth and the Tarkin Empire must reckon with the consequences of their actions. The immediate aftermath of the battle sees the Tarkins in disarray. The once dominant empire, which had been poised to annihilate Earth, now finds itself on the verge of collapse. Their military has been decimated, their fleets shattered, and their confidence shattered. The Tarkin leadership, unable to comprehend the resilience of humanity, is forced to reckon with the humbling reality that they were defeated by a species they had long believed to be beneath them. The Empire's command structure begins to crumble, as key generals and leaders are either killed or captured, and the once proud warriors find themselves retreating to the far reaches of the galaxy, their strength broken. The Tarkin Emperor, having been personally humiliated by the failure of the invasion, makes one final attempt to salvage what's left of his empire. He sends a formal message of surrender to Earth, acknowledging that the Tarkins have been bested by humanity's ingenuity and resolve. It is an admission that no one had expected from the Tarkins, who had long believed themselves to be invincible. The message is not only a surrender but a bitter recognition that they were outsmarted, and that their centuries of arrogance had led them to their undoing. For Earth, the victory is both a relief and a moment of profound reflection. The war has exacted a heavy toll. Countless lives were lost, entire cities were destroyed, and the scars of war will take years, if not decades, to heal. Yet the victory has also united humanity in a way that few could have predicted. The nations of Earth, who had once been divided by political, economic, and cultural differences, now stand as one. The shared experience of defending the planet from a common enemy has forged a new sense of solidarity and purpose. The United Earth Defense Council, UEDC, takes on greater influence, and there are talks of establishing a new era of cooperation and defense, ensuring that humanity will never again be caught unprepared for such a threat. Despite the victory, the war has left an indelible mark on Earth. The population is scarred, and the cost of war is evident in the shattered colonies, broken families, and the loss of life. As Earth celebrates its survival, it also mourns the sacrifices made. The victory is bittersweet. Humanity has triumphed, but at a steep price. The survivors know that they must now rebuild not only their cities and colonies, but also their spirit. On the Tarkin side, the ramifications are even more severe. The Tarkin Empire, once a mighty force in the galaxy, is left in ruins. The remnants of the Empire scatter into the dark corners of the universe, their once proud fleets reduced to debris. The Tarkins are forced to abandon their ambitions of galactic domination and retreat into isolation. Their leaders, now fugitives, must contend with the fact that they have been humbled by a species they thought incapable of standing against them. The Tarkins' regret is profound. For thousands of years they had lived in a state of hubris, believing themselves to be the superior race, invincible and untouchable. They had underestimated humanity's ability to rise in the face of adversity, to think strategically, and to innovate when all seemed lost. Their overconfidence and arrogance led to their downfall, and they now face a future of instability, marked by the bitter realization that they had ignored the lessons of the past. Their empire is shattered, and their once proud warriors are left to reckon with the fact that their defeat came at the hands of a species they had long considered inferior. As the story draws to a close, humanity stands at a crossroads. The war with the Tarkins has proven that humanity is capable of overcoming even the greatest threats, but it has also shown the fragility of peace. The victory is a reminder that no empire, no matter how powerful, is invincible. Earth has won this battle, but the galaxy is vast and there are other dangers lurking in the shadows. The final reflection is that Earth, despite its victory, must remain vigilant, for it is not the size or strength of an empire that determines its fate, but the will of its people. Humanity's triumph over the Tarkins is a testament to their strength, but the lesson is clear. Never underestimate the power of a species driven by survival and the will to protect its future.